ZBiotics has been getting a lot of attention as a legitimate hangover cure, but how well does it actually work?
Oh, hi, Mark.
What's up, Freccero fam? Welcome back to my channel where I like to experience everything that life has to offer, jumping right into it because I hate YouTubers that waste people's time. I tried ZBiotics, and getting into it, first off, here's how it looks, right? You get a 3-pack, or I got the 3-pack, and they look like this. Now, this 3-pack, on average, is about $36. And last night, I went out, and in the name of science, I got drunk, and being more specific, I had 10 drinks last night. And so in this video, I'm gonna go in depth in terms of what's in this, how does it work, how do you take it, does it actually work or not, and I think most importantly, is it worth the money? I bought this with my own money. They did not ask me to make this video. I spent technically $10 for one of these small bottles. Is it actually worth the money or not? First off, how does this work exactly? So when you drink, something called acetaldehyde builds up, and that makes you hungover. And ZBiotics produces an enzyme similar to the one your liver uses, so acetaldehyde is broken down. And as you can see here, this is a natural probiotic with its DNA altered that produces an enzyme that breaks down acetaldehyde. And the enzyme is exactly like the one your liver uses. So ignoring the technical jargon and everything, in plain English, all this does is this takes the hit from the bad stuff from alcohol as opposed to you taking the hit from it. So this kind of takes away all the negative stuff as opposed to your body having to deal with it. With that being said, how do you use it? So first off, you get one of these bottles, you first shake it up, and then you drink it roughly about 30 to 45 minutes before drinking. If you have this, like say after drinking or whatever, it doesn't really do anything. If you have it maybe while you're drinking, it will only really help with the drinks you have after you take this. So keep in mind, this is not the kind of thing that you take after you, let's say, get back from the bar or the club. This you have to take beforehand. And like I said earlier, in the name of science, I tried this out. First off, I shook it up and then drank it. I'm not gonna lie, this is basically 15 milliliters. So it's kind of a small nip. And in case you're curious, I call these nips. That's what we call them in New England. I know there's a bunch of other names for them. Ponies, 50s, minis, miniatures, airplane bottles, and shooters are the names I've heard of them. So it's kind of ironic that this is almost in the shape of like a nip, a little bit smaller though. You just chug this real quick. Being honest, it doesn't taste that bad. It tastes kind of like a citrusy lemon lime taste. Doesn't really taste bad, to be honest. So you drink this, wait about 30 or 45 minutes, and then you're good to go to start drinking. Okay, with that all being said, the main point of this video you're probably interested in, how did it work? Did it actually work or not? Being completely honest, I am still a little hungover. I'm gonna be honest, but definitely not as bad as if I didn't take this. I also noticed last night, which I thought was really interesting, I felt like that I got all the good parts about drinking without all the bad parts. What I mean is, I remember being like, wow, for some reason I feel super energetic, super upbeat. Like I definitely knew I was drunk for sure. Obviously I was definitely drunk, but I didn't feel that kind of drunk, sluggish feeling that I typically feel. So not only did it feel a lot better today, of course, after drinking this, but I also feel like the drunk feeling that I had last night was better than normal. It was definitely noticeable, right? And especially regarding the hangover, you know, as you saw maybe from the footage or collage, I mixed a lot. Started off with mezcal, then went to gin, then mezcal, then had a big mixed drink of all these different Czech liquors, then Fernet Branca, then beer, and then finish off with hard kombucha. So I bounced around a lot. And like I said, I had 10 drinks as well. And like I said, I'm definitely hungover. I think there's no denying that, to be honest. But I definitely feel way better as if I did not take this. For me, typically, I usually have things like Pedialyte afterwards, or any kind of electrolyte beverage, or DHM, or ibuprofen. I also might have magnesium. This works unbelievably well. So you may be wondering, is it worth the money? And I'll stress, I have no affiliation with ZBiotics. Does it actually work? Is it worth the money? I'm going to say yes. I think that although it's very steep, I think, you know, $10 for this small bottle, I think $10 for this, I do think it is worth it, right? Because, hey, I'm filming this video. I feel pretty good. The only thing I will say when it comes to hangovers, of course, is keep in mind, sleep is the only issue. I genuinely don't think there's anything that can truly get rid of a hangover completely. I mean, maybe someday in the future we figure it out. But I think the biggest issue is really sleep, right? I did sleep well last night, I will say. But let's say if you go to bed at 2 and you wake up at 7 a.m. for work, you're still only getting 5 hours of sleep. And I don't think really any hangover cure can completely cure the lack of sleep, right? I think there's no way to do that as far as they figured out in studies. And I do want to say, I did sleep pretty well last night, so I'm pretty much good to go today, to be honest. And one thing I want to say as well is the amount that I drank. It was interesting. Looking back on last night, I'm going to be honest. I think there's a point, at least that I felt, and I don't know, this is just my own personal observation taking this. I feel like there's a point where maybe this got overwhelmed, if that's the right word, with the amount of drinks I had. Because I remember feeling, honestly, perfect. Like I said, like one of the best drunk feelings I've had in a while, if that makes sense, up until I'd say the 8th drink. I think if I didn't have those extra 2, I would have woken up today feeling almost perfect. Being honest, I think I would have been 100% today. And I know this is very famous last words, like, oh man, if I didn't have that one last shot or that one last drink. But I genuinely think that was the case with this. I think that if I stuck, let's say, with just 8 drinks, it almost seemed like this worked well with 8 drinks. Maybe after that, they said, hey, the enzyme can only take you so far. Those other 2 drinks, you're on your own with those. So maybe that's what happened with this. So I wonder if maybe there's like a limit where maybe at a certain point, like say if you have too much, the enzymes from this get maybe overwhelmed. One thing I do want to say though as well is this does stay in your body for 18 hours. So like if you are having a big day drinking session, I feel like this is perfect for that because it lasts 18 hours. Another thing I will say, if I have to be very specific, is near the end of the night, I remember I wanted to leave early from the bar. It was only like midnight, so it was pretty early when I left. And I remember I slammed those 2 drinks and then left. So maybe it was something like this, that because I had the alcohol too quick, the enzyme got overwhelmed, as opposed to, let's say, if I paced myself better, and then it would have been okay. So maybe it was that. Maybe it's the fact that I drank those last few drinks too quick. But overall, gotta say, you know, looking at it, my biggest question when I got it was, okay, this 3-pack that I got, as you can see, I only have 2 now, because I used one of them, was $30. $30. Would I buy this again? Honestly, yeah. I genuinely would. I will say, though, and I gotta be honest, I don't think this is a complete magic cure. We can go out and slam 15 drinks in 2 hours and wake up feeling perfect, but this surprisingly works. I felt very noticeably better after taking this. It's very, very clear, not only the feeling that I have today, after waking up and feeling great, but I think especially the feeling that I had when drinking. I almost kind of felt like I had a bunch of caffeine or something when drinking, which I didn't, by the way. Didn't have any caffeine or anything. And I just noticed I had way more energy when drinking. Like I just felt like that I got all the benefits of being drunk, all the fun parts about it, without all the bad parts. And that was very noticeable to me, that I was like, wow, maybe this is doing something where, you know, I don't feel sluggish. I don't really feel like the part about drinking, right? And usually when you drink, you feel both. You get the good parts, but also with the bad. And with this, I felt like I only really got the good parts and none of the bad parts. Gotta say, overall, ZBiotics, the real deal.